Isn't that a wonderful way to start? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday Cafe, and happy Friday on this sunny but cold day. I'm Judy Carson with the State Department of Education. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the first Friday Cafe of the new year, 2020. We're so glad to see you. We're doing a topic today that we did a few years ago that was one of our best. Every Friday Cafe is our best. It was one of even the better of the best. And so we're really pleased to be here again to talk about mindfulness in schools. And so today is going to be a little bit of a combo of improving our practice with families, but also taking a moment, a mindful moment for ourselves. So welcome, and we have today an agenda that features mindfulness throughout the grades, K through 12, and different practices that we can do at different age levels. And we have two examples that have been well implemented and well replicated, and we have folks with us that are now training other people in schools in their own communities and in some cases across the country. So we're really privileged to have these people with us today. And so I'm going to let my friend and colleague, Betsy Leborious, introduce our first speakers. And you may notice a little similarity in the name of one of our speakers. So Betsy.
It gives me a lot of pleasure this morning to introduce two people. We have three people who will be talking about mindfulness. But the first two people that I'd like to introduce are Annamarie Mule, and she is a principal and a principal coach for New York City for other administrators, but also a principal of the Cobble Hill High School for American Studies. And then the other person is Mehgan Leborious. And the last name is the same because guess what? She's my daughter. So I really am thrilled to introduce and to have them both talk about a program that Ms. Mule really, as the administrator, led in a high school, in an urban high school with a lot of students. And so if you think that this work can't be done in K-12, we have stories to prove that it can. So Ms. Mule.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Cobble Hill School of American Studies, just to frame some of the context around our school. We are a 9 through 12 college preparatory school in downtown Brooklyn, in District 15. We take our students from all over Brooklyn, and even from Queens. We are not a specialized school, and we don't screen. Our students really come in through educational option, which means that we take a good mix of high, medium, and low. But for a long time, really, most of our students came from those categories that are really just designated by testing as middle and low. In 2010, when I actually came to the school as the principal, the school was in distress, right? So we were part of a national program called Transformation, and the program in New York City called Transformation that really applied to 11 schools at that time. And basically, they replaced the principals, and they crafted a really, really strong school improvement plan in order to save the school from closing. So that's where we were at. And I came in, and for the first couple of years, really I thought the biggest issue was instruction. And most of the changes and the initiatives were really around building a strong culture for learning. Not just a strong culture for learning from the standpoint of the administration, but where all the stakeholders were really invested. Parents, students, teachers, and we created a lot of frameworks for that. And one of the biggest frameworks we've used over the years is around AVID and Wicker. And so if you're familiar with AVID and you're familiar with Wicker, it's really about integrating writing, reading, inquiry, collaboration, and organization across the content areas, and having this academic advisory class that happens for students to guide their learning and to help them learn the skills to become more autonomous and construct their own meaning in their learning. In 2015-16, it was kind of a tough year. Not so much in terms of data points, but just in terms of culture. And I realized at that time, I was pregnant at the time, I was going to go out on maternity leave. So it's actually really, I'm very productive in those years whenever I'm having children, because I actually, I'm trying to get everything done before I go out on maternity leave. So that year, I realized that we were really reacting to social-emotional concerns and the social-emotional issues that our students were bringing to school or engaging in school, right? They were stressed, they had stress before exams, depression, sometimes suicide ideations, fights, all of those social-emotional issues that came, some of it just came from being teenagers, right? And the changes that happen with adolescence, some of it also came from traumas that they were experiencing in their home lives and also in their communities or in the past, right? So we realized that we really needed to be more proactive about helping our students deal with emotions, right? So that year we crafted a plan that in advisory, we were also going to do some work around character and thinking about, and we started really simply, right? It was just around character traits of the month, right? So let's talk about respect so that we come to some common language and some common understanding around what that means. Let's talk about empathy so that we come to some common understanding of what that means. And then that year, 2016-17, Ms. Leborious became a new teacher at my school, and she came with a lot of experience, and I think a highly effective rating. I might be wrong. You see, I was right. And she came to our school, and she kind of had some ideas for mindfulness. Even though I didn't have training, I said, yes, that's right. We should definitely try some of this out. So I'm going to turn it over to Mehgan so she can talk a little bit about her work at Cobble Hill.
Thank you, Ms. Mule. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Mehgan Leborious. My big claim to fame is that my mom is Betsy. I'm very, very proud to say that. Thank you so much for inviting us to come here to talk. I came to Cobble Hill High School in 2016. It was my 4th year teaching high school, and I have been a long-term meditator. And I never, ever, ever dreamed that these things could come together. It just didn't seem at all possible. But coming into Cobble Hill High School, suddenly it started to feel like there might be a possibility. So I went to my boss, Ms. Mule, and I said, during my preparation period, right, that's the time when people are doing lesson plans usually or something like that, can I just go in and do some mindfulness lessons with kids during that time and let's see how it goes? And she said, sure, try it, why not? And we started to see that it was that there was some benefit. We started to notice anecdotally and get a little bit of data that it was helping. Kids were a little bit better able to regulate, a little bit better able to relate to each other, right? So we started to move forward from there. So then we added more structures and systems, and we'll get a little more information about that as we move through the presentation. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay, so we wanted to talk a little bit about what mindfulness is. So mindfulness is really this notion of paying attention on purpose to what is happening right now with kindness and curiosity. So if you've ever had that moment when you were kind of lost in your thoughts for a moment, you kind of come out of it and you don't know where you are, that's could be that moment when you're being a little bit mindful, right? Not even realizing it. Some student definitions around mindfulness. These are some of the things that our students have said over the years that really prompted us to continue the work because we saw that there was value to it, not just from our perspective as adults, but from their perspective as students. One student said, mindfulness is something that brings happiness and it helps you relax and think about what's going on in your life. And mindfulness is fun to me. The training helps people become more aware of thoughts, feelings, and body sensations so that you don't get overwhelmed by your feelings. Mindfulness is the acknowledgement of your feelings and security of yourself. It allows people to get in touch with your inner self and learn more about yourself spiritually. Mindfulness mends your personal relationships, friendships, but also your relationships with yourself. And the last one on this page, mindfulness is being aware of your surroundings, learning how to react in a positive way. It's responding without reacting. If I get angry, I breathe mindfully. I inhale as much fresh air as possible, then I exhale all the negative air. I count my breaths to know when I've reached the limit.
So you guys can have a look. There's a few more definitions from the kids. We feel encouraged that they have created their own definition. I do tell them on the first day, you know, this is the technical definition, but your definition is going to grow and change as you connect with the work and make it your own. So I'm very proud that they have really developed some nuance in terms of how they're relating. So I'm not going to read through those, but we want to show you a video. So this is Kalila, one of my current students, and she's a 9th grader, and she was a kid who was kind of always in the hallway, kind of always in a huff. You know, she was having a tough time settling down inside her classes. And let you hear from her.
So what's your name?
Kalila Pogi.
And Kalila,
That's on the video.
what's your definition of mindfulness? What do you think it is?
I think mindfulness is where you can just relieve all your pain and stress by really focusing on your mind and doing things that can help your mind grow in its game.
Awesome. And what did you think about mindfulness class at first, and mindfulness?
I actually did not believe in it at first. I did not like mindfulness. I thought that it wasn't gonna help me at first. But then like once I really got into depth with it and really understood it, then I began to like it because I actually found myself like getting help, really.
Can you say any other way about how it impacted you or how it helped you?
Like, it helps me like I don't get like as angry in situations and I don't rash out like I usually would and just little things like that.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add?
After that, she said, you know, I'm your favorite student. So, how do I go back to my presentation? So Kalila is with me again. Do you know how to go to the next one? Okay. Perfect, thank you. I guess I wasn't sure if I would read this one, but this is a poem written by a student from last semester, and he says, "Dark days. My days were filled with tragedy, days when I felt like committing a solemn battery. Some days I felt like an untamed beast. Through the power of mindfulness, I was able to express my feelings and let them go. I wish I would have known that I could live in peace. Life used to be hard for me. I constantly lost people. I felt miserable and depressed, and now I can finally breathe and get pain off my chest. I feel accomplished and I feel like the best." So I didn't really know what was going on inside this child, not fully, not to this level. And I asked him to write a reflection on this piece. He said, "This poem's about my tragic past. My past is very dark and I had no clue." Makes me a little emotional. "I had no clue it would get better until I found mindfulness. It was like a dark hole full of depression and anger, although I bettered myself. I now know that people could have my back as much as I have theirs." So that's Gianni. So we also want to talk a little bit about what mindfulness isn't. Although, you know what, I think we might just skip this part. Maybe we'll just talk about that it's not so much a pedagogical strategy, but it seems like people have some pretty good understanding. You want to just say?
Yes, yeah. So mindfulness really isn't a pedagogical strategy. It's a mindset, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of It's not simply relaxing and zoning out, and it's not about controlling your emotions.
Oh, okay, so this exact language comes directly from Maritza. So when we first started doing Mindful Minute, which is, she'll tell you, and I'm sure you might have already heard, that Mindful Minute is a really, really important structure in her school. So in 2017, I think, I went to visit Maritza at Breakthrough Academy, and this is one of the things that we took back. So anyway, we're going to do a little Mindful Minute now. So the invitation is to shift into a position that feels both powerful and relaxed at the same time. We'll call that a mindful posture. With the students, I sometimes say switch it into mindful mode, right? Because posture sounds a little uptight. Mindful mode. So I'm going to ring a bell and ask you to make that shift into a mindful posture. So mindful posture. Beautiful. So I'm actually going to ask you to let that go for a second and just switch back into what might be an unmindful posture. With the kids, I say whatever posture. So switch back to whatever posture. Okay? And then I'll ring the bell again and ask you to sharpen your attention and switch back into that mindful mode. Okay? And then from there, I'm going to ring the bell again, and I'll lead you, but I'll just ask you to raise up your hand when the bell sound has completely disappeared. Okay? So the first bell, mindful posture. Sitting up into your power. Noticing the feeling of your body in the chair. Feeling your feet on the floor. Noticing if any part of your body feels tense or held, and seeing if it's interested in relaxing. Maybe a little attention to the shoulders, the jaw, the belly. Just coming into the sense of how your body feels on this morning. And your eyes can either be closed or gently lowered, whatever feels correct for you. So now I'll ring a bell and I'll ask you to raise your hand at the very second that the bell is completely gone. Breath in. Beautiful. And you can allow your hands to lower back down. And from here, the invitation is to gently open your attention toward any sounds in the space. So just opening your attention wide for a moment, allowing whatever you hear to come to your ears. At this point, the invitation is to switch from that wide open attention to a more focused attention, this time on the breath. So taking a breath in, relaxing it out, and another breath in, allowing the body to fill up, feeling the stretch. Releasing the breath back out, letting the body melt down toward the ground, toward gravity. And filling up with air. And emptying, letting go, relaxing, melting. And another breath in together. And the invitation here is to just stay with that felt sense of the body breathing for just the next few breaths. back to the next out breath. Seeing if you can relax your shoulders, your jaw, your belly. Really just allowing yourselves a moment. Recognizing that you did a lot to get here this morning. Acknowledging your own work. And we'll stay here for just a few more breaths. And we'll take a last breath in together. So take breathing in, stretching, filling up, and then relaxing it back out. Relaxes the body down. And gently allowing your eyes to open, maybe giving a little wiggle. Does anyone, either professionals or people who have a lot of experience or people who are brand new at this, want to share anything about what it was like to practice for those couple of minutes? I'll come back. Yes.
I didn't realize how much tension I had in my body until you really relaxed your shoulders and like, oh, they're kind of really tight up here. And so I was like, oh, that feels so much better.
Beautiful. Thank you. Did people hear that? Awesome. Thank you. Is anyone else interested in, Maritza, would you like to share?
Sure. For me is, yes, give me the opportunity to be present where I am. Because right now we are all sitting here, but we have 10,000 of thinking. Even if we hear Mehgan, our thinking is going. She might say something, you made a connection and your mind flow to there. And when you said about don't even be able to know that your body is tense, that's one of the most beautiful things that you can learn, because we all working, we get up in the morning and our body's already tense, our minds are tense, and if you use just 1 minute to figure out where you are, you start to feel that you are present, that you have something, feel the ground, feel your body.
Yeah, thank you. It's super, super simple the way this works, right? It's basically brain science. We're building up the prefrontal part of the brain to be able to be present. We're developing and building up our tolerance to be in the present moment. And it really is just coming back to something again and again and again, and noticing when we went somewhere else. And so the more times we do that, the more we build up those mindfulness muscles. So it's remarkable how quickly it can happen with kids. So maybe just a breath before we move on. So the invitation is to take just a minute and talk with the people at your table about what that was like for you, what you observed. Maybe you also noticed tension. Maybe you also noticed tension in the shoulders or in the body, or maybe you were feeling annoyed by it, or maybe it made you feel peaceful, or whatever it was. Please just take a minute to share with the people at your table. How are we doing for time? No. Do you want to play? Yeah, we're okay. Much appreciated. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure what this says. So take about 5 seconds to wrap up the conversation. It's hard for us. If you notice, feel free to adjust. Was it too soft? Okay. We will sort of since we do have a lot of people with experience in the room, we're not going to go deeply into this. We'll just say that research suggests that mindfulness has some benefits for all of us, and particularly for youth. So decreasing stress, improving feelings of well-being, decreasing incidence of depression, and improving focus are some of the things that the research seems to indicate at this point. And Maritza and I are both actually graduates of the Mindful Schools year-long certification program, and I will point you to their website for resources. It's a real compendium of research on mindfulness with youth. So I do recommend that you check that out. I'm going to take, you want to do that one? Okay.
So I think we wanted to talk a little bit about my perspective in terms of what it took to kind of get this initiative rolling, right? Because there is a principal piece that is very important. And really, the most important part of the principal piece, I believe, is really, does this align with your mission and vision? Does it make sense for your school, your community, your students? Are you able to articulate it in a way that makes sense for your mission and vision? At our school, it did make sense, right? And it made sense because our mission is really about helping students become caring, global citizens. And we have that word caring, right in our mission statement. We also talk a lot about student voice, pride in work and achievement, a mutual respect for teaching and learning. And mindfulness helps students develop those skills to really articulate their emotions and be present in the moment. So it makes sense in terms of our mission and vision. Now, as the school leader, right, are you involved in this at all? So I was invited to take some courses in mindful education, and I took them. They were online, so I was able to talk to my faculty from experience. I was able to say in a very authentic way, hey, I've been doing this at home, and it's been helping me regulate my emotions sometimes. It's been helping me to take a breath and think before I speak. It's been helping me be more present with my children, my own children at home and my children here, right? And we were able to get buy-in. A number of teachers, I'd say at least half the faculty over the course of 2 years took the online courses, right? Kind of became advocates for mindfulness, right? And in some ways, we're doing some of it in their classes, right? Take a breath. So when you start to have that school-wide momentum, right, the kids take advantage of it because they're hearing it. They're not hearing it in isolation. They're hearing it in their social studies class. They're hearing it in their AVID class. They're hearing it at gym, right? Physical fitness, right? So that's very important if you can speak to it authentically. And then I think creating the space and the structures for the initiative to actually happen is really important too, right? So thinking about programming. So the first year, Mehgan was really nice enough to use her prep period. So it's kind of voluntary in her part. I think the second year you used your prep period and we gave you a period off, right, to kind of take care of this. Are you going to leverage any resources towards the program, right? Are you going to put some funding into it? So we paid for the teachers to actually take the training online. We allowed Mehgan to take some time off to go get her certification and her learning so that she would be a stronger practitioner and be able to talk from her experiences. So a lot of it is really thinking about what do you need to do as a school leader to ensure that at least some pieces of the initiative are rolling out. And then I think the reflection piece. Mehgan's really great about coming to me twice a year and telling me this is where we're at, right? These are the things that went well, and these are the things we need to work on. And are you a partner in that work, or do you just shuffle it to someone else? Right? That's something to think about, because as a school leader, you have the power to make things happen or not make things happen, right? Depending on your interests and depending on the partnership that you want to have and the rollout that you want to have. Yes, this is an example of some of the resources we leveraged. So we took one of our classrooms, and it was actually a corner classroom, really cozy, but kind of stuck out of the way. And we said, hey, I think you came to me with this initial, was it, I can't remember if it was, I had the classroom. I said, that's the classroom for mindfulness. And it did, it worked out well. Then we got the custodian to paint, right? So the custodian contributed the paint. Yes, the teachers. Yes, the Ego bought the rugs, the teachers bought the meditation cushions, we purchased some furniture for the room. So now we had a space, right, for this to happen. So not only a structure, but also a physical space.
How do you find space?
Yes. So I've done a lot of repurposing of rooms in my building. I'm also very fortunate. I don't share space in New York City. Many schools are sharing or co-located. Knock on wood. Not look. So we worked with them. We said, you know what? I can't expand the building. No one's going to give me money to expand the building. We're not, the park, the backyard next to us doesn't belong to our school. It used to. It belongs to the Parks Department, so they let us use it during the day, but they're not going to let us build any kind of permanent structure on it. So I took one of my classrooms and we turned it into a weight room. So some of the kids are going to the weight room, right? So some of the kids are choosing phys ed in the gymnasium and they're doing fitness gram, and some of the kids are choosing weight room. Then we said, you know what? We had a library. That didn't make sense. And I said, it's not enough space for a library. So we converted another room that was a math classroom, which was way too big to be a math classroom. The math classroom did not need all that space. And we turned that into the media center library. And we took the library and we turned it into a dance floor. And a dance room, right? So now we have a dance teacher. We're taking dance as lessons, right? So I think walking around the building with that eye of like, if this was my house, what would I do? And you'd be surprised you'll find spaces. And then you'll talk to the right people, right? So when we repurposed the dance room from the library, we asked the superintendent, she was for it. She kind of I don't think we followed all the rules we were supposed to. She approved it, as long as she approved it, we did it, and we have a dance room, right? So I think definitely looking and thinking about what classes can share some space, right? Where do you have some classes that maybe it's not being utilized the entirety of the day? Where do you have some rooms that maybe could be repurposed different because of their shape, where they're located, and it'll happen.
So we're getting it's time to wrap it up.
So sorry if we could talk for days, I'm sure. I would love to. But this is just a quick overview of the structures we have in place at our school. When we say push-in program, that means going into a classroom and collaborating with the teacher there maybe once a week, or whatever works for that teacher. And sometimes it means pulling kids out to the mindfulness studio once a week, but they're still within the structure of their own class. Then we also have elective classes where kids have once a day for a semester, and those are going very, very well. The studio, we have a morning meditation, so kids come from 8:05 to 8:10.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Have you, because a lot of us are in the field of connecting families to learning what our students are doing, have you done anything insofar as connecting your students' families to mindfulness?
Yes, such a good question. Thank you. Thank you for moving it along. Thank you. So I'm going to speak from my own perspective as a high school teacher, right, of this material. So the things I do are I send a curriculum letter home. I have standards. This is a mastery-based class. There's 10 mindfulness standards we're working on. So I send a letter with those standards to the parents, and I put it with a field trip form, so I always get it back. And really giving parents a sense of what's happening in the classroom, right? And then also, I do something called a Zoom meeting. You guys know what Zoom? Does anyone know Zoom? Yeah. So I have 3 Zoom meetings per semester where parents can come during lunchtime and kind of gather online and talk about the class and really have their input. And what I find is that a lot of parents are really, really appreciative and relieved. How many people are parents? Okay. And I think that we want to know that our children, me too, I'm a parent too, we want to know that our children's social and emotional needs are really being met. So this is sort of a concrete thing that parents can, oh, okay, yeah, you know, we're working on that. So that's been, does that answer that question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sure. Sorry, it took us so long to get to that piece. I don't know, I'm going to turn it over to Maritza, but here's some possible action steps. If anyone's interested in thinking about implementing a program, maybe take a picture and you're welcome to talk with us later. Just some food for thought. And we know that it's really going to look different at every school, in every community, and given the talents of all the stakeholders and thought partners. So we're going to, without further ado, thank you for your patient attention. Very, very much appreciated. We're looking forward to getting to know you a little better. And we'll turn it over to Maritza. Yeah.
We're going to have some time at the end for more questions and answers. So I'm very pleased to introduce Maritza Soto-Gomez from Breakthrough Academy. And your next action step after today's Friday Cafe session is to go visit Maritza's school. I have the pleasure of visiting this school, and I had heard wonderful things about it, and I had told other people wonderful things about it. And I said, well, I really need to go see for myself.
Yes.
And I had such an incredible experience, and she'll describe how they welcome people and how they show other people the work that they're doing. And Maritza and the person who founded the school, Norman Newman Johnson, had a beautiful vision which has maintained and transitioned through multiple principles. And you know how hard that is to keep the vision alive. Mm-hmm. They've done a beautiful job of it. But the thing that really just touched me on my visit was hearing from the students. And Marissa will talk about that. And I heard from an 8th grade boy, very similar to some of Mehgan's comments from students, about the power this had in his life, in his schoolwork, in his family, in his home. And he had set his mission to become a mindfulness teacher, to share this with other students. And I said, wow, this is something really special here. So I'm thrilled that Maritza is with us to share today. Thank you, Maritza, for being here.
Good morning. I want to thank you to Dr. Carson and Betsy. It's amazing to be able to be back here. I remember 4 years when I came, and it was just try to spread a little bit about mindfulness. So a little bit about me. By trade, I am a psychiatric social worker, and I've been practicing mindfulness for over 20 years because the base of my mindfulness came from the hospital. So we know that John Kabat, he is the person who is the most renowned person talking about mindfulness. So he came with my MBSR, which is the mindfulness break stress disorder or stress collected. And from there, I moved to the school. So when I went into the school, I knew that what I was doing with my patients will be very positive for the kids. But before we start, I think that we've been sitting for a long, so I'm going to try to see if we can do some kind of quick activity. It had to do with the listening, how present you are, and how quick your brain can change. So I'm going to give you 4 commands, and we're going to keep doing it. So through that exercise, you are going to also be exposed to how vulnerable I feel about doing things like this, how comfortable I am, that I am ready, where is my energy, what I want. So I want you to try to be present in the sense like when you do anything, it's connected to an emotion. And that emotion has connected to something that probably happened before. It's a lot about how did I look, what people think about me. And can we try? Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is standing up. So to be safe, the only thing I'm going to ask you is to try to push the chairs toward the table so we have a space. There are going to be simple 4 commands, and they're going to change in the order. So be yourself and enjoy it. That's it. So the first command will be walking. So you're going to walk. The second command is clap 2 times. Say your name all at the same time. Jump twice. And here we go, walk. A little bit fast. Clap twice. Jump twice. Say your name. Keep walking. Say your name. Jump twice. Say your name. Clap twice. Stop. Take a breath in and a breath out wherever you are. Feel the palpitation in your heart because you are moving. And trying to figure out what is the feeling that you have right now, real quick. Jump 3 times. Walk. Say your name. Clap once. Clap 3 times. Keep walking. Say hello. Hello. Say your name. Frida. Jump once and stop. So wherever you are, I would like for you to turn to the person next to you. And now you're going to turn your back to that person. So we're going back to back. You don't need to be close to that person. You just need to close your eyes for a second and be present. That I am feeling comfortable where I am. What is emotion? Did I still feel the palpitation in my heart? What is the emotion that right now is within me? Take a deep breath, in and out. Feel your body. It feels stable, it is moving. Feel the ground. How your hands feel. Maybe you have holding your hands or your hands are down. And take a deep breath right now. And we're going to have for a minute, turn to your person and just share what is the emotion and how is that for you. And by the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are going to try to get in silence. Be present where you are. And we are going to try to take a breath. Short breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. Just be there. I would like to know if somebody would like to share how that was for you. Okay.
I just created or am using this for a program I'm doing on Monday. And I just want to share with you all, I'm like I feel like I was meant to be here. I was like, wait a minute. It was just wonderful to feel like you're so present.
Thank you. Anybody else? You are not obligated. You are present. That's it. Okay, so let's just go back to your chair. And thank you so much for playing. This type of exercise is very easy, as you see, to do it with any place. Basically, it's really a way when you get your kids, if you are a teacher or principal, or you work with series of anybody. You want the person, the easy way to start to feel that they get it. Saying be present is very easy to say it. Be present is not so easy. Take a lot of practice, and the practice is to really be able to be sincere and honest with yourself. Know yourself. And it's one of the most difficult. And the reason is, when we start to look within ourselves, sometimes we found things that we don't like it. Sometimes we found things that happen because X or Y situation is happening because we cannot avoid it. And sometimes because this is the only way that I'm going to be able to be. That's what we said. So when we are mindful with ourselves, we are going to find ourselves connected with guilt, connected with your own judgment, connected with what people have been saying about yourself, connected about who you are. So we are all adults and we know that that is not easy. So bring that to younger kids. It's not easy because the kids feel that they need to show either that I can do that I don't need your help. So in my school, we start mindfulness with my babies, they're 3 years old. So very important, and I think that Mehgan mentioned too, mindfulness is a lot with neuroscience. It's a lot about your brain. Not too long ago, we figured out that the brain is elastic. There were people thinking that after a certain age, your brain is not growing now, and whatever you can learn, that's it. But now we know that it's not that way. It's wired. And who made the brain to be go elastic and growing is yourself. So how you're going to teach that to my 3 years old, and I have all the way to 8th grade. So you need to be very creative, and I think that people who work in a school or people who work with other people have to be very creative to get through. So I do a very quick lesson about the brain, and basically I just said, put your hands up, put your thumb inside, and close your hand. This is your brain. So we know that brain have many, many pieces, but there are 3 pieces that is the most important. This piece is the prefrontal cortex. That's where your decision, your organization, your plan to do, everything that have to be done. That might know this is what I need to do. If I want to go to B, I need to go from A to B. Then when you open your arm, your hand, this thumb is the amygdala. The amygdala is one of the, if not the most small piece of the brain. And even is the small one, that's where all your emotions are there. So when a kid having a tantrum, or having a situation, or take that math test, and the test continue being D and F, and I cannot go, the first thing that I do is, how was your emotion when you were doing that? Because what happened is that when we allow our emotion to take over, this is basically what happened. The part of the brain that tells me this is the right thing to do, this is the organization, I start to go inside, and my amygdala taking over. This is when you feel just emotion and you don't have a time to think about it, you just keep reacting. It's that fly and fight. Reacting. I am wrong, I am right, and you are wrong. And I'm going to blame you for what happened because all my brain, all my human being is in emotion and doesn't let me think. So what mindfulness do is help you identify what is the emotion that happened right now and what is connected to what. So the other day I have one of my classes, and I can keep talking, and I forgot to just keep passing. One of my classes, doesn't look so well, but it was one of my 7th grade students. He just came in 5th grade, so he's not with me all that time. We were talking about how you can describe using your mindfulness knowledge with a situation that you have overcome, and how was that? So this kid went right away to academics, and it was math. And he said, I remember when I start here, I will get in the math class, the teacher will start to do anything, even the good morning, and right away, I can feel my heartbeat going fast. I can feel my hands start to be very sweaty. I start to say to myself, what I'm going to learn? I am dumb in math. And I remember that during all that time, the only thing that I learned was be right about that I was right, that I will never learn math. So through the mindfulness, he used this process. So that's the program that I created, the mindful break. Breathe. If you are right now, and I'm telling you clear, if you right now experience any situation, the first thing that you need to do is the breathing, because the breathing is your anchor. It's what holds you to where you are. So you just breathing and learn how that air coming through your nostril, going to your body, fill your lungs. You can feel your belly going up and down, and finally it's going out. So if you are focused just in that process, you create what I said is a magic moment. It's a space where you can say, wait, what I'm going to do next? So when you're doing that, you go to relax, you calm your body. It's not about zoning out. It's not about I'm going to sleep. It's just, like Mehgan said, identify where's your stress. Sometimes you don't even know where your stress is. And right now, at that moment, use your breathing to go back to that. And breathe in and breathe out. Then examine what happened. And when you do that, it's without judging yourself, because when you're able to breathe, anchor yourself, be understanding what is the part of your body or what is telling you that you are stressed, then again, you go to that clarity. What is the problem that I have right now? With my student, he realized, I think that I am not going to be able to learn. But what happened is that teacher is doing division, and still I don't know how to do multiplication. When he discovered that process, he wasn't telling himself, I am dumb, I cannot learn. He was just present. So it was almost like that moment of clarity when he said, wow, it's not that I cannot learn. It's that there are some steps that I haven't learned, and I need to go back. But he was able to go back without feeling embarrassed, because then he was aware of his feelings. Okay, if I go to the teacher, what the teacher is said. If I raise my hands, what the other kids are going to say. And finally, be kind with yourself and others, and compassion. And how that looks, I am not going to be putting attention in what other people said. I'm going to put attention in what I need, identify the person who can help me, and go for it without feeling any emotion. So that's what I've been teaching the kids. And obviously, from 3 years all the way to 8th grade, I teach in their developmental way. Wonderful thing that happened in my school, I started this in 2006. And as I said, by training, I am a therapist. So as a social worker, basically what I did, if I took 7 of my kids in my caseload who were having the most difficulties, they were kids with depression, kids with obsessive compulsive, ADD, ADHD. They were having learning difficulties, maybe 2 or 3 years behind. And they were basically creating a chaotic situation in the classroom. As soon as the teacher will say something, somebody will start tapping, The next person will start to share. The next person will start to make noise. And in less than 3 minutes, those kids will wrap the class, and the teacher will need to stop. And what happened with the teacher is you are looking at those kids, and if you put yourself in the teacher's shoes, she's probably saying, or he, okay, last night I worked until midnight to create this lesson. They don't know that I have to use part of my money to get the material. And in 5 minutes, the principal is coming to see how I'm doing. So if you have that, how you think you are going to be able to overcome that? So teachers, human beings get frustrated. You go through the same situation. And then when you look and try to work with the kid, you go into not a reflective move, but in a resenting move. And right there you said, you are out, I cannot deal with you. All of that happened without even you realizing. And then that sometimes becomes habit. And when become habit, you don't realize that become part of you, and you're thinking that is that natural. So this is the big piece of the school. So what I work a lot with the brain. I want the kids to understand that you can rewire, and this is for everyone. So how I help the teacher during my years is that I offer mindfulness for the teacher for years, 1 day a week in the morning before the kids come. So everybody come and we have a lesson and we're just practicing. So the big change that happened from the 2006 when I started just with 7 kids is that I put those 7 kids in a small group. In order to do it, I do not just have the support from the principal, but I need to have the support from the parent. You cannot disconnect the kid from the parent. You know, I always said that this is almost like the solar system. You have a kid and you have many things around them, and if there are not connection, things are not going to happen. So I connected with the parent gave me the permission, so I took up. And what I told the teacher was, I know how busy you are. I don't ask you nothing except share with me observation. And that's it. And the teacher would start to come to me and say, what are you doing with them? The tapping starts, but the second person doesn't pay attention. So we are able to start to do more work. So we keep going, and I keep doing more group, parents. In my school, kids coming from 24 different countries. So it's a lot of different culture. It's a lot of different transition for each of the parents. And the kids getting into our school, and they need to transition into what the parent told them that you can do versus what they need to do to be part of versus what I really want to do. You know, it's a whole developmental to find who they are. I will say always that I was very grateful that my teachers really understand that mindfulness will be not just for the kids, but for them. So talking to somebody, were asking about space, and I love what you said because this is really what happened. In any school or any place, even if you think that you're not going to find a place, you are going to find it. My first place to do my group was a corner in the second floor of my school that was the entrance, one of the entrances on the school that nobody used it. So what I did, I went to the gym teacher and I said, do you have some extra yoga mats that I can use? And she said, sure. So I get 20 mats, I put it in that corner, and then I said to the kid, we're going to start to try to have our own place. It's going to be in that corner. And the kids said, oh, it's going to be our mindfulness corner. So we went to the art room, and with the help of the art room, the kids created a big sign that said mindfulness corner. Then they said, but Ms. Soto-Gomez, where we're going to connect that? I said, well, we can ask around. So we found a divider that is on wheel. So they put the mindfulness corner there, and then they decide to draw how they feel when they were doing mindfulness. And they cover the whole divider with the artwork, and it was beautiful. So the big question that I have in myself was, okay, I will be in the corner doing the mindfulness, but it's a corner. So when classes change, they have to go through there because there is close to the stairs. So I spoke with the kids and I said, what we need to do? Put yourself, we are there, we're going to be doing mindfulness, we're going to have our mindful minute, and maybe people are going to walk really fast, and if you are in a school, you know how that happens. So the kids said, what about each of us talk in the homeroom that we are going to start doing mindfulness, and if they see the divider on, that means that we are there. I'm going to ask them to walk mindfully, so they will not, they will not. It's a lot of things that you have to be creative. So I said, let's see what happens. So my school is 350 kids, and the whole second floor is the 5th to 8th grade. And you know that. My little one will walk in more silence than can walk the middle school. So we start to try, and we will hear the noise coming. And they said, Mr. Soto-Gomez is coming, what is going to happen? And I said, let's be present. Do you think that everybody is going to do it right away? No. Why? Because things take time. It's beautiful. So if we are doing something and the noise is coming, better, because you're going to get better in doing mindfulness, blocking and detaching for any noise rather than pay attention to the noise. So this is self-regulation, it's learning with the attention, with the impulsivity, and I will tell you that probably just 2 weeks into, we will know that the kids will come and but because they were very silent. And you hear somebody, mindfulness is sensation. Remember, we have to be very quiet. And they were teaching each other. It was beautiful. So I was doing mindfulness in that corner for many years. So in 2015, I kept looking what else we can do here. And there was a room, that I wasn't really using. So I went to my principal and I said, can we have our mindful room? And she said, what do you need? I said, well, I don't mind. I can paint it. I want pastel color, maybe a rug, maybe some pillows around, and make it so. So we are able to do it. So I'm going to try to, let's put a pause in the group. I want to talk about this. When I do mindfulness, I embed it every single class. By that time, mindfulness is part of a schedule. So the kids receive the schedule the first day, and they have when math is going to happen, when English is going to happen, and when mindfulness is going to happen. So the class comes with the teacher every week. And when they come, I gave a lesson on mindfulness, but the lesson is connected with all the academic. So the teacher is able to embed it, all the activity within the academic. So there are videos, there are games, there are articles to read, there are people to bring to talk to you. So in that way, I'm telling you, it's amazing. So music teacher was new teacher in my school, and when she came, I love nature music as a background to do my mindful moment with everybody. And after 3 months, she said, I have an idea. And I said, what about it? And she said, what about if we create a group of kids who can play that music that you hear from a CD or a DVD, and we can create a group. So the Mindful Fusion group started. There were only 10 kids. Right now it's 50, and it's because we don't have instruments for everybody. So the instrument that they play are most instruments from the East, but really instruments that they can, this doesn't have the music. They are video. But what they do is that they are creating in the moment. We are not telling what you are going to do. We are just do a pace, and they creating in the moment by just focusing in that instrument that they have in particular. And the music is just beautiful. And we have already been going places because they're inviting us. So the teachers get involved in the program because they said they see in their own benefit. I wish I can. No, it's not. Well, you need to go to the school to see it.
It is awesome. It's
I-
really awesome. It's like a whole meditation. The kids are all collaborating with each other. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful experience.
Yeah. So what you are going to see, because I've seen that more than words, picture telling you a lot. So what you see in there is starting the day in 3rd, 4th grade. So being the only one that I was doing mindfulness in the school, I create videos doing mindfulness. So there is like a 16 video that I create, leading the breathing, leading classes. Like if you're going to have a math class, there is a video in mindfulness that can support you for the math, or support you for science, or support you for English. And the kids know. I put very creative name to the video. So the math is the magic carpet, and the science is the nature class, all that kind of thing, so you can get with a kid. Co-teaching. Because the teacher coming to me with the class, they're exposed to mindfulness. So we plan together, and where I go sometime to their class, we are dancing together. They directing any exercise that we do, or if there is math or science, we're doing it together. This is pre-K 3. So those are the babies. Community meeting in our school every Friday. Everyone in the school come together, and every Friday a teacher direct the program. Our school is a character program, so sometimes it's about responsibility. You are responsible of your own happiness. Sometimes it's about integrity. Could be cooperation. And what I do is, because I sing everybody, so every 5 weeks, with the marking period coming, we have a community meeting where we all school together review what we've been talking about. One thing that happened during the January 7th to the 10th, the Nobel Foundation is a foundation, educational foundation, that trying to figure out which school across the nation are doing anything that can support the social emotional learning. Transforming education is within the Nobel. And they came 4 years ago, interviewed 3 of my kids, 1 of the parents, and then they've been using those videos across the 50 states as showing to teachers, this is something that you can do. So it seemed like they were using it so much that basically all the schools said, can you video something more? So they grant our school $10,000 for being able to innovate in how to use mindfulness to help with the social emotional, because the direct result is that is your academic, is the emotionality of the kid, is the well care of the teachers, and that's what definitely you want to have in any place. So they came for a whole week and they interviewed me. That's in the mindfulness room. So I have my lessons around. They give me a TV, so I am able to do some of the videos. This is going back to the community meeting. So when I do my prom and what they're going to do, the whole school who together is like 400, and between students and kids, I sit them in circles. So the oldest kid have the small kids inside their circle, and all them together. Mindfulness is about also in what way I can support you. It's appealing that ability that your word doesn't start and doesn't finish with you. Right now, for me to be here, there is a long line of people and situations that happen to be here. So the same way that people put in my journey to be here, I want to do the same thing. So it's a very sophisticated concept, but the kids learn it very well. So they work in group. You see different classes, so you can see the small one with the oldest one. I do a lot of mindfulness in art. It's beautiful when you tell the kid, you have just a paper, color, pencil, try to just breathe and just let yourself go. And those pictures and the drawing say more than thousands of words. And what I do is I work with them. We try to figure out what is that. Journalism, every kids in the school have their own journal, and in the morning they're taking a couple of minutes to write 3 things. What is the emotion that you have right now? What the number that you are from 1 to 4, how you feel. 4 being perfect to 1 feeling not okay. And then can you share a little bit about what happened? And that's it. We are not asking them to talk a lot, we don't asking them, but once they put that in the journal, they learn that after I do the 3rd one, did I need to talk to someone? Did I need to share with someone? And one thing that we try very strongly in our school is that every kid in the school have a connection with somebody in the school. And this is not just connection with the teacher. It's with everybody who works in the school, from my cafeteria staff, from my custodian, from the paras, from volunteer. The idea is that when I ask the kid, can you trust somebody in the school? I hope that they will say yes. And just the trusting and being present that I have somebody else to help me, it makes a bit different like us. Each of us, I'm sure that you really try to get somebody that can make you feel good, that it just listens. Sometimes it's not that they said anything to you. So this is our kindergarten. I love that girl. As I said, I involve a lot of my academics. So yes, Amazon is your best friend. We have series of books that the kid use. And when the kid, let's see, those 2 books go from 2nd grade and 5th grade, my oldest one use it to help younger kids. So they are able to explain to them and create that connection. This is my leadership group. So what I always do is, because the kids start so young with me, I always, part of the SCLL, is try to develop leadership. So we create a program as the Mindfulness Coaches Leader, and I met with them separate, and we go more deep in the practice, the understanding, your place in life, and each of those kids were with kids in the younger grades. And mostly in the younger grade, you have kids who have impulsivity, they have attention issue, they feel that they don't have friends. So my coaches met with them for 5-10 minutes in the morning. They have that check-in, and then at the end of the day, before they go home, they go and back to them and say, how was your day? What we can do? Can we need to do something right now? Can we leave it for the next day? And right there, they do the basic breathing and let the kids know things are going to be okay. It will not be quick, but they're going to be okay. Okay. These are a group of kids who went on competition. I believe, if I am not wrong, was a district English competition by team. And they were along with kids from all over different schools. And the teacher who is with them, the teacher said, my goodness, this is probably very stressful for all of you. We are the next one. We are in 5 minutes on. And the kids in the middle, Daniel, he's one of my mindfulness coach, said to the kid, we need to have a mindful moment right now. And then they found a table and they just sit there and did the mindful. And then the teacher took picture and said, Maritza, they doing mindful. And all the teachers are looking at your kid like, what is this? And after that, they were in the competition. They won. And they sent me this as a pic that tell the teacher, text that to me, Soto-Gomez. So this is the corner. Remember I mentioned to you before, I don't know if I can put play, but Channel 3 made a report on us. I don't know if I can make it work. It's not going to work. I think that I probably will talk to Julie after we can put it in a way that you can go into the website and you can see all of different programs. And I finished that with one of them. I love Maya Angelou. I think that if somebody has been self-mindful person, it's her. And what she said, I have learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And that's one of the most beautiful things that you can ever find. There was another presentation that I made copy. They were outside. I don't know if everybody was able to do it. It's mindfulness at work. All this year that I've been working in the school, as Mehgan said, you have to prepare yourself. So I did a lot of different programs. And the mindfulness school back 2008 was when really I figured out that was the best. So I did all the class. I did my certification as Mehgan did. And my next step is that they have a certification to create mindfulness within the district. So I'm going for it. You should go. So part of what I've been doing is going places to help different organizations understand the well-being of your employee. So back in, I think it was 2017 or 16, I was called by one of the mindful practitioner global leader, and he invited me to be part of a 40 mindfulness practitioners across the world that work really to develop mindfulness for the well-being of the employee. And some of the people who are in that group is the person from Google, the person from Yahoo, the person from Aetna. Most of the health insurance are there because they understand that the well-being of us have to be prioritized in order for us to help others. So I was in Yukon, a store, on the 17th, and I was invited to help professors and graduates and personnel to learn how to take care of them through the mindfulness, hopefully that they will be kind and compassionate about themselves and about others. So when you work with people that never hear about mindfulness, you need to go to the basic, right? And basically, what I term in general is just paying attention in a particular way to what you do. So what we know is that the testing performance is going better. And at the core, I'm going to leave it in that. I know that I'm finishing, but let's figure out that each of you work in a place, and this is the needs that you need to be able to do your work. So you need to be physical. That means that your body needs to be rest, ready to go. The spiritual part is basically your belief, your core of belief, what holding you. The emotional to feel cared for and valued, and mental, the power to set boundaries and focus in an absorbed way. So all of that is together, but it's not easy. So one of the things that I teach then is a very quick strategy that is called 3x3, 3x6, or 3x9. And this is the simple way. If I am in front of all of you, I'm grateful I know some of you, most of you don't. So in my mind going, did I explain in the right way? Did people really understand? Did I have their attention? Each of you have your own situation that brought you for a reason or another reason. So all of that created stress, right? So the first thing that I did, and you didn't know, because I didn't tell you, is that I was doing the 3x3. And basically what I do is that you choose 3 things in front of you to breathe and create that space. So right away when I get here, the first thing that I said, I have a microphone, I'm talking, but I'm going to breathe in. Microphone is here. Then I look at the camera and I said, breathing in. I am not describing, it's just looking. And then I turn and I love the color of the coat, it's one of my favorites, so I breathe. If I need more, I choose 3 more. So right now where you are, you can look into the pen that you have in your hand, the cup that you have in front of you, or the phone that you have. So if you need to do it again, then you do 3 more. That's what called 3x3, 3x6, or 3x9. Basically what you're doing is that in the moment where a situation is happening, that you know that is triggering your emotion, you create that space so you don't react to the situation. So you're waiting for the visit of somebody and you know that they need to look at your papers and you know that the papers are not complete because X, Y, Z. So right away you're going to go into that defense mechanism, and in your brain you're going to look for who I can blame, what I can say. I was tired, I was sick, my kid, my dog bought my paperwork, all that kind of thing. So at that moment, you can create that space that is so amazing to just think and say, okay, this is what it is. And I'm going to feel calm, and I'm going to do the best I can do. That's simple like that. I want to thank you to all of you. I will be sure to put all of those material in the website, and I am at Breakthrough Magnet School, 290 Brookfield Street. I'm sure that we can put everything, and you can come and visit anytime. The kids are used to that, and I love to have visitors. Thank you so much.